going to verify top dead center by just putting a piston stop in here and just slowly bring it clockwise and watch the reading on the balancer. All you need to do is have the same reading both ways when it hits the stop, and then you know that 0 is 0. Okay, our 0 mark shows 9 degrees. Now we're going to back it completely the other way, and if it's at 9 degrees, we know we're there. And we have 10 degrees, so it's 1 degree off. We can live with that. I'm going to put the hydraulic lifters in that I've been soaking in clean oil. I've already cleaned them and just soak them in oil so that the clean oil soaks into the needle bearings. And if I didn't put the oil pan on, we'd have a mess on the floor, so that's why I did that. Little dog bones are marked so that you know how to put them in. It's marked top. Very similar to a Ford lifter, Ford hydraulic roller lifter. It just simply keeps them straight. Then there is a retainer that holds this whole deal down. The cam bearings that are in this engine, and that I put in all my Oldsmobile engines, have a groove around the backside of the cam bearing. And what that does is it allows you, the oil hole is normally in the 6 o'clock position, but with all the valve springs pushing on the push rods, pushing on the camshaft, the force is straight down and the oil hole is normally in the 6 o'clock position. Well, that basically blocks off the oil and it tends to wipe the cam bearings. So what you do is I have Durabond make specially grooved cam bearings where the backside is grooved, and you rotate the hole to the 90 degree or 3 o'clock position. So when the camshaft is rotating, the oil has clearance on the side and it has a wedging action and allows the oil to protect the cam bearing. These two particular passages expose the backside of the groove in the number 2 and 4 cam journals. So in this case, we're bolting the tray down, the bolt will seal it. But if you didn't have that tray, you would have to make sure you had bolts in there. Okay, we're going to be installing our valve train right now. We're going to use the Comp Cams 1/6 ratio roller rockers and the Comp Cams Magnum push rods. 3/8 80 wall, good stiff push rod. Anyhow, you have to soak these in oil until all the air bubbles come out. That way that you ensure that all the oil is inside all of the passages and in the needle bearings. So as you can see, I have all of them soaking right now, and as soon as the air bubbles stop, then we know we're ready to put these on. I've already determined the proper rocker arm geometry on the engine. That's why I ordered these push rods to this length. That needs to be done. You can actually do that on the cylinder head prior to assembling the motor. When doing your rocker arm geometry, you look at the contact patch on or at least the relationship of the roller tip on the rocker to the valve stem. Wherever it is at 0 lift, whether it's in the center, slightly behind, or slightly ahead, at full lift, it should be in exactly the same spot. That will tell you that your push rod length is correct. After I get these all in, I'll put a little dab of Molly on top just to protect them during first fire up. Next are roller rockers. You want to make sure that they go on the right way. There's a flat where the polylock is touching, and on the other side there's a radius. The radius goes toward the head, the flat goes toward the top where the polylock will hit. I'm just setting these on right now to make sure there's no interference, and then I'll put my Molly lube on. Sometimes you just need to check, make sure that there's no binding issues. It's always good to put it on the very top of the stud where the poly lock will lock to that stud. If you don't and you try and lock that poly lock, you'll hear it screech, which means it's basically binding up. The way I adjust these, whether it be a solid lifter cam or a hydraulic lifter cam like this, I'll just work my way right down the line. That way you don't forget anything. Watch the lifter. I'll just start at the very first one. Watch the lifter come up. Watch the lifter come down. And just give it a little crank, and you're on the base circle of the cam. At that point, put your poly lock on. And bottom it out until there's no clearance on the rocker. As soon as you feel it start to tighten, give it a half a turn, lock your nut, work your way down the line. Don't need to over tighten these. It's not going anywhere. Take the play out, half turn, done. Okay, we're going to use these flat out intake gaskets. What I like about these things is they have a, I guess, I don't know if I'd call it a silicone. I think it is a silicone coating, but anyhow, what I usually do is glue these onto the head really good so that they stay there, and when I go to put the intake manifold on, I'll just put a little sealer around the intake ports, or around the water ports anyway. But they got a special coating on there that makes these things kind of not stick. So it's great when you go to, if you ever have to pull the intake manifold back off, the gasket will stay to the head and you won't have to be scraping gaskets and replacing them. They're pretty resilient, so nice and thin, don't need it squeezing out everywhere. Push it right on there and let it dry. You're good to go. Pretty